welcome to the All Jammed Up podcast, presented to you by Music Never Stopped. I'm your host, Clint.
I'm your co-host, Chloe.
And I'm really looking forward to cracking up.
Well, we're all jammed up and we're ready to blast. It's time for Clint and Chloe's Music Podcast.
If you guys have never seen that video on Instagram, you really got to find the video of the kids saying.
One of Clint's absolute favorites.
I'm really looking forward to cracking up. I haven't cracked up in a while.
It's better than what I had planned. I was going to surprise you with a "We're deep in the dog pound." Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I should have thought of it.
But we've done it. We've interviewed all of Dogs in a Pile, plus their manager.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're officially...
Who do we got next?
I think that's everybody. I think there is another...
I think there's someone else.
Another gentleman that...
We'll find him.
We'll find him.
We'll find him. Oh.
But yeah, we have Brian and Jeremy today. And kind of we'll have a lengthy into the show. Do you have anything to start with today?
To start with, we bought Billy Ween tickets.
Yes, we did buy Billy Strings
tickets.
tickets.
See you in Baltimore for Billy Halloween. We are still going to be at Halloween, but thank God it's the week before.
Yep.
Maybe that means Billy will also be at Halloween.
I hope so, please, Billy, please.
He's praying. But as far as topics, I don't really have anything on the front end.
Yeah, we're going to cover Mental Awakening and all the dog shows that, well, we already did that, I guess, but we'll talk about it, I'm sure. And then we have a new deep dive we're going to do for the month of April that you guys voted on this time. So we took matter into our own hands and did the Celtic Gaelic, and
it was hard. So we're going to go...
Maybe not as good as the Cajun one. So
we're going to go with your recommendations.
Which was Western psychedelic, so...
West African psychedelic.
Yeah, not just Western psychedelic. That would be...
It could be something else, too. Northeast, Southwest. Meh. I'm not that interested.
That's basically what this whole podcast is. We're in the West. We're Western.
Oh, I was thinking Western America. Because for some reason, when you just say West, I only think...
That's just the Grateful Dead. All right, guys. We're going to do... Excuse me. We're going to do Jeremy first, and then Brian, and we'll see you guys in the back end.
Honey, you're listening to some All Jammed Up.
All right, guys. We're here with Jeremy, and we did it. We've interviewed everyone from Dogs in a Pile.
Yes, let's go.
Save the best for last, in the king chair. Just what we're going for. We were just talking about how I don't know how to use Audacity, and Jeremy asked, so I guess we'll just start with that. What's been your, path? You said Audacity was the first thing, digital workstation, 2009. What's, been the graduating path? Did you learn just regular piano? We're getting right into this. Did you just learn, regular piano first, or would you learn a synth first? What was...
So...
Talk a little closer to it.
Yeah, sure. The first thing I got into was the recorder in the 4th grade.
Okay.
And then in the 5th grade, I got into the trumpet. This is all school stuff, typical. Everybody more or less has that experience. I wasn't really into the recorder or the trumpet all that much. But then I got Rock Band for my 11th birthday. And I was beating the crap out of those plastic drums. And I was like, wow, this is it. So eventually my parents acquiesced and they got me a real drum kit. And that's where I started. And my grandparents had this old Casio keyboard in their basement.
So were you sick at Rock Band? Were you really good and was I need a real instrument, that's how good I am at this?
As Miles Davis would say, I was a motherfucker at Rock Band. Yeah, and then I went into my grandparents' basement. They had this old Casio keyboard, and I put it on the pipe organ setting, and just hold down all the lower keys and make this terrible racket,
Mm-hmm.
But that's when I got into the keyboard and piano.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, I want to dive more into that, but I guess we don't have to just jump right in like I did there.
Sure, at your pace.
Yeah. Great show last night.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
That was fun. You and Sam did that little little riff off there.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
How much of what you're doing on the keyboards besides just playing the songs is planned? There's so much going on over there. I feel like you're always you're like a mad scientist behind there.
Yeah, definitely. There is some stuff that is consistent for sure. But within the consistency, there's a lot of room to play around. Last night we had we were holding out a note or a chord, and then we're kind of segued into the song Appleseed.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do have a typical motive. I play a little keyboard intro to that song, and that typically ends up within the same general wheelhouse, but just whatever song we were playing before, I was like holding down some keyboards, I was like in, 2 places at once. And so I had to kind of work out a different intro and like figure it out on the fly because of just what was going on over here and then over there. And then like the new sound for the new song. So it still like worked out typically, how it typically would, but it was orchestrated differently.
Yeah.
Which is, that's the fun, for me as a keyboard player is like there's so many layers and textures available to me. And, that's why you see guys like me, stupid people with like way too many instruments, surrounding them because, okay, I need this sound at that moment, and it's just right there for me.
Yeah.
Ready to go. So it's very important, instead of like, scrolling through menus and whatever, which I still have to do sometimes, but
How many keyboards are up there?
There are 7 at this gig, but there's one more that we couldn't quite fit on the stage. So.
That is a small stage up there.
Yeah.
So that's, I guess, what I meant is like, so you learn the keyboard, you just learn how to play regular piano.
Yeah, I was just following my ear.
Like
and just,
classical, like classically trained, or
no? I didn't have the only music schooling I had was like 5th grade band, which like none of that really landed on me. And then I just started like when I sat down at the piano and I had no idea what I was doing. My dad actually showed me 2 things. He showed me "Imagine" by John Lennon, and he showed me "Don't Stop Believin'" in the wrong key. So,
shots at dad.
Yeah. No, but it was it was enough to get started. It's like I was starting to visualize the shapes and like connect my ears to the sounds that were being created. And so just discovery. I was reading a lot online. I was just like trying to get my head around all this music theory stuff. So I do research and just playing a lot, learning a lot of songs. I learned to read, and I could read very well.
Yeah.
So that was a huge help as well.
Do you think that like I'm trying to learn like guitar and trying to like learn how to play music, and it's just like it seems like it just comes very hard to me. Does it feel like it came pretty easy to you? Or does it like
yes
something you
and
worked
no.
I know you worked hard at it, but
I
like
put an unmeasurable number of hours, really ridiculous number of hours. But it was also at a time in my life, our brains are very plastic when we're young.
Yeah.
And so I got really heavy into it when I was 11, 12 or so. So it was a really good time because I was really excited about it, number one. And number two, my mind was just ready to be molded.
And what made you so excited? Was it like other music that you were hearing that you wanted to replicate, or is it able to just like you could create these sounds yourself? Like what was making you so excited?
It was everything. I was just in love with music, and like I don't know. It's strange because it took me by surprise. Like when I got into the drums, even like I was just like, it was just awesome, and like I couldn't explain to you at the time why it was awesome. I just knew I loved it. I knew I had to do it. It's kind of a confusing thing. It's one of those, indescribable things.
And then you meet up, and then how'd you get linked up with these guys?
Yeah, so Jim and Joe are pretty much lifelong friends through family, and they met Sam, of course, just like playing around, hanging out, and jamming with people around the Jersey Shore. Brian and I, of course, are from Long Island, but we didn't know each other our entire lives. We met in Boston at school.
At Berkeley?
At Berkeley, yes.
Okay.
And that's where the two of us met Sam. So Sam is like the link between New Jersey and Boston.
Gotcha.
And therefore, New Jersey and Long Island, where we're both from. It was kind of a strange happenstance. Sam, Brian, and I had a band in Boston. And then, Sam was just like, "Hey, come down to, the shore for a summer, a couple weeks, and just like play some gigs and just jam and smoke pot,
And there's like kind of an interesting story into how you got into Berkeley too, right?
Yes, I wasn't going to pursue secondary education. I was already working a lot. I was doing a ton of musical theater gigs, and for anybody out there that is a musician, you know that the theater gigs are great because they're consistent, they pay well, and it's not a lot of work. You learn the book for the show, and then.
But is that what you wanted to be doing when you were doing it?
I saw it as a very viable career path, 'cause
Okay.
of course I loved music and I loved creating, and I was in, all sorts of bar bands and I played bass in like an indie funk band. I was playing a lot and creating a lot, but I was like, I knew that the theater stuff was like, okay, this is like a good steady gig that you can get and make good money and like fund your life
Yeah.
and then have time to pursue, passion projects. So I figured, and of course, it's jumping ahead, but when I was in college, I was like, yeah, I'll just like do theater gigs, which you can sub out at any time and, go to Europe or, you tour or whatever you want to do, So I thought that's what I was going to do, because, it was a logical thing. You'll make money and you'll be able to live your life comfortably. But yeah, when we were in college, we all met and we started, playing and writing and just having a lot of fun,
I think I steered you off the original question
Yes, totally,
of
totally.
your scholarship.
Let's roll it back. What do we got? Oh yeah, right.
How you got into Berkeley.
Yeah, so okay, I wasn't going to pursue secondary education. But I was pushed. I was pushed along by I went to this arts high school on Long Island. And the short version of the story there is that it was severely underfunded. Districts did not want to send kids there because they argued that the music program at the district school was just as good, which of course it's not because they don't offer, anything to do with modern music. It's okay, you'll take your, European music theory, which is not useful in figuring out how music works now, and you'll play in the symphonic band or whatever. Like who gives,
Yeah. Fucking European music theory.
Yeah, it's kind of racist actually. There's a good video on YouTube about that, which you should. But anyway, so yeah, I wasn't gonna go, but I was pushed because through connections at my arts high school, which was like I said, it's really underfunded. Billy Joel's Foundation came in and donated a princely sum to keep the school funded and keep kids in the arts space going. And it was a great school. It was music and graphic art, theater, filmmaking, dance, like everything.
Yeah.
And so it's like, yeah, like I'm working, I'm making money, like I don't really need to go to college to do music. Not a lot of people, a lot of people do and a lot of people don't.
Yeah.
And it does not make or break your musical life. But I was pushed and prodded because behind the scenes, I had some people looking out for me, and I have to shout out my mentor in high school, this guy, Jerry Noble, who is a drummer, and he taught me so much about being a performing musician. He took me on gigs that he had, and he showed me, like, this is how you effectively load in and load out. He got his whole drum kit and PA on one hand cart. It's like, this is efficiency. Like, you can break your back, or you can do it a good way and, not hurt yourself. So he really advocated for me, and through the connections with the school and that whole thing, I was offered a scholarship to attend Berkeley, from Billy Joel and his foundation. And that's, by extension, the reason that this band exists, which is a really cool thing to think about,
Billy Joel saving New York again. Saving New York.
When does he not? It's messed up. It's not fair.
But you weren't into like jam bands when you were growing up, right?
Not at
Like,
all.
did I read that was like your dad's music and you were like punk hardcore?
No, not quite punk. My dad was super into the jam stuff. He had done many Dead shows when Jerry was around. He saw Fish as early as '88, I believe. So he was really on it.
He's a beast, yeah.
He was on it. He's a space cadet, but he's on it. A good guy too.
We gotta get him on the pod next.
Oh, he's got stories. Yeah, and I heard it. I was like, man, these guys can't sing. Like it's like they're fucking noodling and musical masturbation, the whole thing. Because I thought I was really hip. I was like, oh, I'm into Bill Evans and Miles Davis, and I like jazz and all this stuff. So I wasn't really into it. At least I wasn't really. I don't know. It's kind of, he turned me up. My dad turned me on to a lot of good music.
Yeah.
And for some reason, that stuff just didn't land on me at the time.
So what were you listening to then?
It was a lot of jazz.
Okay.
My dad put me on Frank Zappa, so I was and still am completely obsessed with Zappa. I mean, I think he's probably the finest composer of the 20th century, prolific and just amazing texture and
Chloe doesn't like
musical
Frank
settings.
Zappa.
I don't not like him. He kind of scares me.
He's a super scary dude, and I do not agree with everything he's done as a human being.
But you got to separate the art from the artist.
You do, yeah, you do, and
His songs just kind of spooked me out a little bit.
no, yeah, it's like it's a lot of heavy shit,
Yeah.
there really is. But that's also something that I like to be challenged, and so it's very challenging music, and so it got me, it caught my ear, So yeah, the jazz, the Zappas, this is like prog fusion. Rush is really the band that did it to me. I played YYZ on the plastic drums, and I was like, whoa, that's huge.
It seems like, and I think when I talked and I interviewed Nick, he mentioned that like you're always like looking something up or learning something on the bus, like in between shows.
Yeah.
What's
for
like
sure.
something right now that you're like kind of trying to learn about, or something you're flirting with the idea of experimenting with?
Let's see. We just had a couple weeks off, and so I was like, I kind of tried, and this is something I'm not very good at. I tried to shut my brain off, and I was doing some light reading. Brian actually got me a book for my birthday last year. It just came out a few.
Can you talk a little?
Oh, sorry, yeah.
You're good.
He got me this book for my birthday last year. It just came out, I think, 6 or 7 months ago. It's called Loud and Clear. It's all about the Grateful Dead's Wall of Sound. So, and kind of really not just the genesis and how the Wall of Sound went, but also like kind of how the technology developed as they developed as a band, right? Because when they started in the late 60s, there was no PA technology, right? Famously, the Beatles, when they toured, they were playing on converted movie theater speakers, right? The PA system as we know it just simply did not exist. And the Dead were innovators, the Dead and their team of engineers and equipment guys, as they have been described. So it's been very, very interesting to learn all about that. And I've always been super into the tech and engineering end of things as well. That's been very exciting. And so I've been thinking about, sound reinforcement, PA systems monitoring and all this stuff and how it is now and, potentially how it could be better, and I certainly don't have any answers. But,
Yeah.
The systems we have now are very impressive, and lightweight. You don't
Yeah.
have to tour around with a, 40-foot high stack of speakers to have clear sound at the back of the room, which is pretty neat,
Yeah, which I guess that all this now kind of leads to the question I asked right off the rip. You learned to play like the piano, and when did you think like, oh, I need to add one more? And then what made you think like, oh, I need to have this too? Like, what was the? And I'm sure this is a long answer, and feel free to really get in depth of it because I'm curious. Like, how do you know what tells you like, oh, I need this, and how do you know that's what you need, and how does it all like, how do you make it all work?
Sure. When I first started playing keyboards, the one keyboard I've never owned a piano. My family never had a piano, but we did have this really crappy, no action, no velocity sensitivity, just like a really crap instrument. But that's really what I learned on for, I want to say, a year or so, besides my grandparents' keyboard. And at a certain point, I was like, okay, like, this is not a piano. I've touched a piano before. I know that this is not the experience that I'm supposed to be having. And so I searched night and day on, Craigslist, which, of course I was maybe 13 at the time. So my parents weren't super stoked about it, but it's musical instrument classified.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, whatever, it's not like I'm going to drive myself there. So I'm going to go with my parents and hopefully get a nice instrument. And I got this Yamaha keyboard that had weighted keys. It even had a little pitch bend wheel. I was so stoked about it. It had like 500 sounds. I was like, I'm in. And I heard Band on the Run, and there's this great synth part in there. Boo-ee-oo, all this stuff going on. It has the portamento. It glides between notes. Boo-ee-oo, right? And I was like, this keyboard can't do it. Why? And it bugged me because
Yeah.
this thing had 500 sounds. I saved for months and months and months to buy this thing, and
Searched everywhere.
right. I was like, but why can't I get that sound? And I realized, okay, well, dedicated synthesizers are a thing, and that's a feature on a synthesizer that you can program. And that kind of like that was like
So
the
break
lift-off
that
point.
part down for me real quick.
Yeah.
So there's a note that you like, and you want to make that sound. So you have to bring in a synth to play the note, and then you like modulate the sound.
It's just how instruments work, right? So this keyboard that I got was a polyphonic instrument, meaning you can play multiple notes at a time. The earliest synthesizers were monophonic, meaning one note at a time. And so there was a feature on there called glide or portamento, which is essentially a sweep between frequencies. So you play low note and then you play high note. Instead of just going boo bee, it'll go boo. It'll slide, right? And my fancy Yamaha keyboard could not do that. I was so pissed. I was so angry. I was like, why? You know? And so that kind of like led me to realize that, okay, you need specific hardware to do the job you want. And, you know, as I learned more and more, I learned, you know, about, of course, there's a grand piano, which is different from an upright piano, which is very different from a Fender Rhodes, an electric piano, which is very different from a Hammond B3 organ. You know, they're all, first of all, different tactile sensations. They sound vastly different, and they're just wildly different experiences. And, you know, I've seen keyboard players, you know, in bands with monstrous rigs around them. And then I started to understand why you need that, because that one thing makes that one sound.
Yeah.
You know? And that's just how you have to do it.
Yeah, I feel like you and Jake from Disco have like just crazy rigs over there. Like I can't even begin to fathom
he's
all
got
the.
a great setup. He's got a great setup.
How many? We were talking about this last night. How many buttons do you think you have
Oh my
access
God.
to on stage?
For buttons and knobs is like my life is ruled by buttons and knobs, because a piano is just a series of 88 buttons. You know, they're very specific and engineered buttons, but they are just buttons. Oh my God, I can't even imagine.
So do you?
Hundreds of buttons and knobs.
So is it like you mentioned settings with on like the piano? So like, will you like take a sound from the computer and like download it to the piano so you have access to that sound?
Depending on, you know, every single keyboard, especially when you get into digital keyboards, like, you know, there's way too many variables. You know, you can do that on some, and on others you can't. On some you can kind of do that in a way, you know. It's just way too deep. You know, I play, or I'm interested in a lot of the older, they're called electromechanical keyboard instruments. This is like the Fender Rhodes electric piano, the Wurlitzer electric piano, Hammond B3, Hohner clavinet, which there aren't really, of course, there's no digital interface on these things. It's all buttons and knobs that perform very specific tasks.
Okay.
But on the modern digital keyboards, you can do that. The only one that I have in my rig that you could, like, put a sample on is the Nord.
Okay.
And the Nord is like, you know, if you had to do a gig and you only bring one keyboard, you'll bring the Nord because it can do anything you need it to do.
Yeah.
But that's no fun, you know.
Yeah. So that's kind of like using the Nord would kind of be like the like easier way to do it, but the way that you like to do it's like there's more access to experimenting maybe.
Exactly, because
Okay.
it's all spur of the moment. You know, you can program the Nord to do anything you need it to do, but the trick is you have to program it.
Yeah.
Whereas if I have, you know, my dog's rig set up, I could do anything at any time that I hear. And in fact, the first rig I used with the dogs was a computer-based rig. And I got that from my musical theater stuff because, you know, all the musical theater stuff is, of course, preconceived, you know, and some of those keyboard books are dense and they have a patch change every 4 measures. You're playing an entirely new texture.
Okay.
So that's all pre-programmed in the computer, and my first rig was like that. I pre-programmed a bunch of sounds, and I would just kind of flip between them when the time was right.
Okay, I've been thinking about how to ask this question since last night, and I can't think of the right way I want to word it, so maybe you'll understand what I'm trying to say. At what point does, like, what you do on keyboard, like, it can't be taught. Like, it's not technique at a certain point, right? It's just like trial and error.
Yeah.
And like, do you feel as though like what you do on the keys can really be taught, or is it just something you have to keep doing until you hear it yourself?
I have some wild pedagogical theories, and one of them is that you can't actually teach anybody anything. You must get them to learn it for themselves, right? So, which, kind of makes sense if it is a little, crazy, but it does kind of make sense. And when you think about it that way, it's easy to teach somebody something that has the drive to learn it.
Yeah.
Because like I was saying before about learning music theory, once again, I was self-taught entirely up until I went to college, and I had a great grasp on theory by the time I did get into college, because I had the drive. I was so enamored with music, beginning to end. I needed to know everything about it. So if somebody is really excited about, this kind of playing, it's easy, relatively speaking, because half the work is done. The excitement is there. And that's, I've been teaching for a little while now, and that's the number one thing, especially with younger kids. I don't really teach younger kids anymore, but when I was, like, the first thing you got to do is just get them stoked.
Yeah.
Get them super stoked about music. Like, check this out. Check out this crazy sound, like, as baseline, like, what dumb pop song do you want to learn today? Like, whatever it is, just to get them excited.
Yeah.
And that's really what it takes, if you have the drive to do it, you're going to do it. That's it.
Yeah, and you can see that on stage too, because like all of you guys will kind of just like take off at times, So it's cool that you guys. I don't know. I feel like there's so many bands that I see, and it's like now it's time, guys. Now it's time, and it's like you guys are just like it could only be at any time. Someone might just go off and do their thing.
It surprises us on stage sometimes too.
Who's most likely in the band to do that?
To go off?
Yeah.
Probably Jim, it's because he's like the, in our context, he's the prototypical, lead jam guitar guy.
Okay.
You know what I mean? The Bliss thing, but we've had many, conversations about this kind of thing, and like it's good that we have that. Of course, people love to hear that. But like what we're interested in doing as a group is of course beyond, just this one thing, And so we was like, okay, we're going to allow space for everybody, and the product as a result is, so much more exciting in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. Can we be in #GermNation?
There is an application fee.
Okay.
But that's it. You just got to give me a little bit of cash. And it's...
What is Germ? I saw it all over your Instagram. #GermNation. You have like 40 posts on Instagram, and like half of them said #GermNation.
I didn't come up with that. In fact, I don't remember who came up with that. But I've taken it on as my own. I like it.
Do you have any Brent influence?
Of course, yeah. So when I got into the Dead, through this band, Brent was the guy that turned me on. As far as, of course, there have unfortunately, but also fortunately, been many Dead keyboard players. Fortunately, of course, because there's a lot of different textures to learn from and to take. But yeah, Brent was, I think, one of the more interesting characters. Of course, really exciting vocalist, and texturally and morale-wise, he really leveled the band up when he joined. And that was like it really could have gone bad for them, but what he brought to the group what really kind of reinvigorated the band and modernized them, in a way, which was very important.
That was your when you really started diving deep into the Grateful Dead, is when you joined Dogs in a Pile?
Yeah.
Did you think, when you were joining, did you know Dogs in a Pile was like a Dead thing?
I knew it was. I didn't understand I didn't know a single tune.
Okay.
I mean, I had heard stuff, of course, from my dad. I think I knew Casey Jones.
Yeah. Were you at all kind of uncomfortable or nervous coming in knowing that, or were you ready for the challenge?
No, I was too cool for school. I really was, because I was like, oh yeah, once again, Bill Evans and Oscar Peterson and Miles Davis, and I'm so hip. You know, I was like, this rock and roll shit is like whatever, you know. But so I wasn't afraid, but it was definitely new. You know, what was good about that is that I wasn't afraid to approach it in my way. You know, which is of course I think integral to approaching the music. You know, anybody that does approach the music wants to approach it in their own way. Otherwise, like you're just like every other dead band that is littering the streets of, you know, insert city here.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I feel that. Any chance you guys play 116 Days tonight?
I can put in a good word. I know a guy.
I've been like obsessed with that song over the last few months, and we saw you guys last night, today, and tomorrow, and I was like,
Oh, you're coming tomorrow? Cool.
yeah, I was like, if they don't play 116 Days, dude, I'm gonna lose my mind.
I might have us play it tomorrow just to make you wait a little bit longer. Because that's right. Yeah, exactly.
I had to last night. I was like, I can't stay the whole night one, because I had to work today and tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know, if we leave early, they're gonna play 116 Days as soon as we leave. But luckily, you guys didn't, so we made it safe.
Okay. Yeah. Noted. I'll pass it along.
Cool, man. Well, we're coming up on our time here, man. Is there anything you want to plug before we wrap up?
Sex, drugs, rock and roll.
Hell yeah.
Hashtag germination.
Another one.
Sorry, can you start over? I coughed.
Oh, you're good. I'll edit that part out. I might even leave that part in. We're here with Brian Murray from Dogs in a Pile. How's it going, man?
Good. How you doing?
Doing good, dude. Fun show last
Good to
night,
see you
huh?
again. Thanks. Oh,
Yeah.
you were here?
Yeah, we
Oh,
were here
I
last
didn't
night.
realize.
Yeah, we were here last night. Looks like you were having a good time. I kept seeing you like just start laughing while you were on stage.
Yeah, for sure.
It was a
We
good,
were having a great time.
good crowd last night.
Yeah.
Did you guys get to do anything like in between today? Did you guys get to go anywhere cool, or just kind of hang out?
Today I actually went fly fishing
Oh, nice.
at the Little Ivy River
Uh huh.
with this guy, Doug. He took me. He plays in Red Clay Revival.
Okay. Yeah, I know Doug.
And it was a blast.
Did you catch anything?
Caught 22
22 fish?
fish, yeah.
Damn, I gotta go fishing with Doug.
Yeah, it was pretty.
Is that like a thing that you're into? Is fly fishing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. My grandpa's been taking my family, like my dad and my brother and uncles and cousins and stuff, since I was little.
Okay.
Up in Vermont and upstate New York, so it's a special thing for us.
Is that where you grew up? Was up there?
Well, I grew up in Long Island, but we would
Okay.
always like vacation up there.
Did you know these guys like since you were young? I know like a bunch of you guys have been friends since you were like little kids, right?
Well, no, not necessarily. Actually, well, yeah, Joe and Jimmy have known each other their whole lives since
Yeah.
they were, 4 years old, and their parents knew each other from high school, So there's been a connection there for a long time. But I just realized yesterday that the first person I met in the band, Jeremy, that was at Berkeley in our first semester, and I think in a couple months that'll have been 9 years ago.
Okay, so you guys have been friends for a while.
Yeah, for a while. And then I met
Can you
Sam.
talk just a little closer to it?
I met Sam shortly after that, and then I met Joey and Jimmy after that. So
Gotcha.
yeah.
And were you always like, so you play like a unique style of guitar? You know, you have like the thing on your thumb and you're using your fingers. Did you play banjo first, or like did you learn guitar that way? Like, what's the story behind that?
No, actually, I started learning guitar using a regular pick, but I kind of held it wrong with 3 fingers, or not in a traditional way. And so I couldn't really figure out why I couldn't play too fast, and so I already started naturally using my fingers, but then there was one summer where I did a guitar camp at Berklee College of Music. I was like 14. It was a 1-week guitar program, and in that 1 week I saw this ensemble, this school ensemble play. It was the Jerry Reed Chet Atkins Ensemble.
Okay.
And then I also saw Tommy Emmanuel do a show and a clinic. And so in that 1 weekend, it just like blew my mind. So I bought a thumb pick from Tommy Emmanuel's merch table, and I just like kept using them. I was like, this is it. I finally found the thing that works for me, and that was comfortable.
So you do have just a pick on your thumb, and then you're plucking with your 2 fingers?
Basically.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
pretty much all of them. But yeah, mainly these guys.
Mainly those
and the ring
two.
finger too.
Okay.
But it also allows you can pinch it like a regular flat pick whenever you want, to just like get that
okay.
effect. But you can also kind of kind of flick your wrist also for like funky stuff and just kind of throw your fingernails at the guitar
Yeah.
as well. You know what I mean? So there's a bunch of different things that you can do with it.
So when you picked up a banjo for the first time, was it like easy for you?
It was easier, yeah,
Yeah.
because I had already started learning a bunch of banjo rolls on guitar,
Okay.
you know, so it wasn't that different to translate. You have that like high drone string, so you have to kind of get used to that on a 5-string banjo, Scruggs style,
Yeah.
you know, or melodic style. Yeah, Jerry Reed like does a lot of banjo rolls on guitar, and I was learning a bunch of those tunes already. So
Nice. Did you like have a bluegrass background at all? Like I feel like up north you don't hear about a bunch of people all too into bluegrass.
I had 2 friends at school in Boston
Okay.
that got me really into bluegrass. They would just every morning we would like drink coffee, get up and make like a French press coffee, and they would just like indoctrinate me with all these different bluegrass albums. And we had a trio up in Boston, like a bluegrass trio
Yeah.
called Turtle Vibe.
Nice.
And
We got to get Turtle
played a
Vibe
couple
back
gigs.
together.
Yeah,
So
played a
you
couple gigs.
kind of how old were you around then?
18, 19.
18, 19. So that
Yeah.
was like, was bluegrass kind of your formative music? Or like, was really got you into like pursuing music professionally, or was there other music you were really into?
First I got into classic rock, and I also got into, my grandpa started showing me how to play the guitar when I was like 6 or 7 years old. He just showed me like, you know, how to play Bob Dylan or like John Denver and City of New Orleans, that song,
Yeah.
stuff like that. You know, like sing-song songs. And so that really inspired me, got me excited about music. I first got into like Led Zeppelin and Pink Floyd. Those are like my 2
Yeah.
bands. And then Rush. And then I found like the Grateful Dead and the jam scene, and that was like another huge change for me.
Do you find like now, like, you know, Dogs is kind of like, you can't really put you guys in one genre. Sometimes you go the jammy, sometimes you have like a reggae vibe. Like, I know there's like some EDM influence too in some of the songs. Is that not being music that you were originally into? Do you find yourself more like listening to more reggae on your off time, or maybe like listening to other EDM? Or is that just things you guys do on stage?
We all hear each other's influences in music, just by being around each other, being in a van for
Yeah.
our whole lives, you know, or in a bus or something. You know, you get to hear everybody's tastes and stuff, and they work their way into everybody's subconscious over time. So we all know how to like tap into those different styles, but we also will intentionally listen to new things together to try to study, say, a new groove or a certain texture or a vibe or whatever.
What's something that you guys are kind of like starting to experiment with now, like a unique sound that you guys are maybe going to try in the future?
Well, actually, recently we were tapping into listening to some more grooves, how musicians from around the world will, you know, have different ways of playing like a samba groove or playing like a funk groove or whatever. So we just started kind of like tapping into that stuff, tried to expand our horizons as a group a little more. You know, still just working on improv and talking about improv all the time. And also with songs, we've been writing with other writers as well to try to expand our horizons in that way. I've been going to Nashville a lot over the last year and a half, and just meeting with new writers all the time and just like learning different styles of like getting a song together.
You guys all kind of take part in the songwriting? Like everybody will bring a song to the band every now and then? Yeah. I know a lot of your songs, including like Earthbound Man, there's like space elements in a lot of your songs. Are you big into outer space? Or is that just kind of like a subconscious thing that sometimes you find yourself writing about?
I don't know. Yeah, definitely interested in space, but I think that just might be
Coincidental?
coincidental.
Yeah.
Yeah, what is it? Earthbound Man and Stranger and what else?
You wrote them, man. I don't know. Earthbound Man was the one that came out to me, and then I feel like I've heard it in a few other ones, but off the top of my head now, I can't think. I should have came more prepared.
Yeah, I'm trying to think as well.
What about Dale Earnhardt? Is Dale Earnhardt a big influence for you? You like the number 3? Where's that come from?
out of nowhere, I just kind of like got into watching races and stuff. Probably about 4 years ago or something.
Okay.
I actually used to go. My dad used to take my brother and I to this like short track
Mm-hmm.
out East Long Island at Riverhead Raceway, and they had like derbies and figure eight stuff, and it was a lot of fun. And I kind of like didn't think about it for a while until I just started to learn about it again, and I don't know. It's fun for me. I like to watch it.
Yeah, racing was a big thing. I grew up in like southeastern Virginia, and NASCAR racing was like kind of a big thing there. I mean, I'm not that into it, but like when I was a kid, like growing up on the weekends, we would like go to someone's house on like Sunday and watch whatever the big race was. And I remember the day Dale Earnhardt died. I think it was the Daytona 500. I almost drowned in a pool that day
Whoa.
at the like family's house that we were watching the race at. So whenever I see that sticker, I always think about that day at my aunt's house when I almost drowned.
Oh wow.
Sacrificed himself.
Somebody, I guess, yeah, if you look at it that way. From touring like all over the country and being from the Northeast, you spend some time doing like multiple night runs in California, multiple nights in Colorado, up north, down southeast. Do you feel the scene's like different geographically? Like, and if so, like how so?
Yeah, a little bit. I think each region has its like own vibe and its own group of people, and there are different like sects of the dog pound and all those different places.
Yeah. Which one?
You see a lot of the same familiar faces every time you go back.
Yeah. Is that kind of like a new thing for dogs? Like seeing a lot of the same faces, like people starting to catch 10, 12 shows in a row? Or do you feel like that's been happening for a while for you guys?
I think it's been happening for a little while, but you definitely
Pick up
I
on it
personally
more.
am noticing it more.
Yeah.
When we go out west, there are people that are coming to almost every show of the tour, and that's yeah, it's pretty cool.
Did you ever have a band like that you were like following around trying to catch a lot of shows, or did you never really get that opportunity touring yourself?
I didn't like follow around the country necessarily, but I don't know. I've seen Tommy Emmanuel a lot. I've seen him like over a dozen times.
And you played on stage with him like way back in the day, right?
I did at a camp.
Yeah.
In Saratoga Springs.
Okay. Was that pretty cool?
I was like 16 or something. It was very cool. Yeah, I was incredibly nervous.
Doing that at 16, yeah, like, are you like shaking your boots on stage, or like is being on stage something that's kind of always been easy for you?
No, I get nervous most times going on stage.
Yeah.
Until like the music hits, a song or two in, and then it's like fine.
Yeah.
Not fine. It's like amazing. I love it. But
It's fine.
with playing with Tommy though, I was so nervous that I just like kept looking at him. I was playing with this guy Richard Smith too. He's amazing, amazing fingerstyle player. And in the video of us playing, I'm like looking at him. Tommy's like, "Stage is that way," or audience is that way, and I'm like, "Oh," like. But that was really exciting. We played Cannonball Rag, which is like
Nice.
The fingerstyle guitar anthem.
Are you still pretty into bluegrass today? Like, do you still listen to a lot of bluegrass music?
Yeah, I do. I mean, Billy Strings is so
Yeah.
exciting, and Mountain Grass Unit is such a great band too. There's so many bluegrass bands, and I feel like they just keep coming up.
Keep popping up, yeah.
they just
I feel like
keep
it's
popping up.
almost like more like jam grass bands coming up than like jam bands coming up right now. I guess it's kind of all in the same vein, but
Maybe.
yeah, it depends who
Yeah.
you ask.
Yeah. But yeah, I still listen.
hmm Does the Murray's Law, the project with you and Jimmy, do you guys like do any bluegrass in that?
Yeah, we do some bluegrass. Yeah, we've done, Called on the Shoulder, that Gordon Lightfoot song that Tony Rice kind of did a bluegrass version of. We actually covered Gild the Lily by Billy
Nice,
Strings from the
nice.
Highway Prayers album, which is an amazing album.
Mhm.
I don't know, that's just two examples. We've done a bunch, but it's fun because, you could have one guy doing the mandolin chops and the other guy doing the driving downbeat bluegrass rhythm, and,
Yeah.
with two guitars, so that's fun.
Have you had a chance to see any Billy String shows recently? We're
No,
like
not
big Billy
recent.
Strings guys, so we see a lot of Billy shows.
No, I've really been wanting to. My brother's been really into Billy Strings lately, so we live streamed one of the Nashville shows together. The one where he had Edgar Winter.
Yeah. That was a fun one.
That was great. now he's always been amazing, but just like it's
I
just
never-
like so beautiful and professional and wonderful
Every
It's
time,
such
yeah.
a good show.
I'd never heard of that Edgar Winter guy, and he was like really, he added a lot of energy to the show, is the way to put it,
Yeah,
I think.
for
Yeah.
sure.
So when you're going to Nashville and meeting these writers, who have you been writing with? Like anybody that like really stands out?
Well, got together with Maggie Rose,
Okay.
who's a great singer
Mhm.
and performer. We wrote a song that we might be playing soonish. We've been writing a bunch with this guy named Wes Bailey. He's
Okay.
in Moon Taxi. I just heard his song earlier today at the hotel. It was crazy. I gotta tell him that. But and Paul McDonald, he's another great writer and singer. Andy Frasco.
Nice.
Andy Frasco is actually the guy originally that started hooking me up with all these people
Yeah.
in Nashville. D. White, great country singer. He's incredible. And who else? Ben Chapman, another great artist, country artist. And Kevin Griffin,
Okay. Cool.
great writer. He's in Better Than Ezra.
Okay. Yeah.
That band. Yeah, every time you go, I just like meet more and more people,
Mhm.
and learn a lot more. So
Did you
it's
have an
inspiring.
acting stint when you were younger too?
I acted in
The East Side
theater
Dave Show.
in high school. Oh God.
I really did my research.
That was my friend Roy Harder. He's like a musical mentor of mine.
Okay.
Growing up, he's a producer, sound designer, and he would play keyboards on that show. Just kind of do like Paul Schaefer little stings and stuff,
Yeah.
after joke punchlines and whatnot. And I would kind of go there sometimes and play guitar with him at the same time, and that was fun. But other than that, just did some.
I saw a picture with
Acting in
John
theater in
Ralphio
high
too.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's
So I was like, I don't know if maybe you had a secret hidden acting past no one knew about.
well, his dad and my grandfather were good friends.
Oh, really? For some
long
reason,
time
when you
ago.
said his dad, I thought of the guy that was his dad on Parks and Rec.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Cool, man. Well, the Pisca show. I don't know, like if that was like one of my favorite shows that we've ever been to. Like just the whole sequence of events and then how the night planned out. Was that night like as cool for you guys as it was for all of us who were there?
It was super cool, yeah, because man, that storm was insane.
And crazy, like out of nowhere.
Yeah, and then just to walk into that room after all that time, putting the stuff away, and then seeing all those people still there was amazing.
When at that point, like you just played Bonnaroo the night before, and then it starts pouring. They're like, okay, the show's canceled, and they're like, actually, we're gonna do it inside. Like at that point, are you guys kind of just like, I don't even want to do this anymore? Or are you still just like, all right, we got a show, let's go? Like, what's the mindset when all that chaos is happening?
Oh, no, we were definitely stoked to still be able to play,
Mhm.
and there's such a profound sense of connection with the whole
Yeah.
room and the crowd when you know that all those people are, they're not giving up on the music either.
Mhm.
Everybody's there to experience music together and be together
Oh yeah.
for a little while. Really, it was really cool. That's happened a few times where we've had to pivot, do something else, play in some barn or something, and it's always just a great
Yeah.
time.
What's your guys' like? You guys have been debuting a lot of new songs like over the last little while. What's kind of like the most favorite song that you guys debuted recently? I don't know if it counts as recently, but mine's 116 Days. I love that song.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Yeah, that one's good.
Yeah, Sam and Jimmy and Kieran
Mm-hmm.
Tucker worked on that one. Favorite one recently? I think I love Postcard. That's a great song.
Okay.
Sam started that song like 3, maybe almost 4 years ago in Colorado, and just super heartfelt, really, really wonderful. And we kind of just like and Kieran wrote on it too, and our friend Cam.
Have you guys played
and
that
then
one much, or just like on the New Year's Eve when you guys debuted all those new ones?
Have we what?
Have you guys played Postcard a lot?
No, we just kind of got it together for that show.
Yeah.
hmm
Is it going to come back in the rotation soon, or are you still working on it?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Well, we're stoked. We saw you last night, seeing you tonight, and then we're going to Atlanta tomorrow for Mental Awakening. So we'll get 3 days in a row. But we're coming up on our time. Before we wrap up, is there anything that you want to plug, man?
Well, tonight will be it. No, Asheville Music Hall. No, not really off the top of my mind. Stoked about the tours coming up. A lot of great dates, a lot of great rooms. Northlands Festival is always a really fun time.
That's the one like in New Hampshire?
Yeah, New Hampshire.
Nice.
I think we were at the first one that they did, and right from the beginning, it was a great festival, I thought.
Are you guys doing your Burning Daylight Fest again this year?
Not this year.
Not this year? Okay.
No, yeah.
Gotcha.
Stay tuned on that.
All right, man. Well, thanks so much. We'll let you get out of here.
Yeah, thanks so much.
See you, dude.
Oh, yeah.
You just got jammed.
Alrighty, guys, welcome back from those interviews with Jeremy and Brian. If you didn't notice, we're on our patio tonight.
Yeah,
Beautiful night here in Asheville, North
the sunset
Carolina.
is absolutely incredible. So I was like, hey, nope, move the camera. Doing it outside. I wish I could turn you around and show you real quick. It's stunning.
I would like to say, too, just shouts out to those guys from Dogs in a Pile. Jimmy was the first person that we interviewed for the podcast. Those dudes have always been super accommodating, letting us come to the green room before shows.
Taking their time when they want to concentrate, probably.
Yeah, so just shouts out to those guys. Thank you to Dogs in a Pile. If you haven't got a chance to see them, they're awesome. Before I started, years ago, when I first really got into jam music and started venturing out into the more modern jam bands, Dogs in a Pile was one of the first ones that I kind of gravitated towards. So it's really special that we got to interview all those guys and get to consider them friends after doing this whole thing. So
yeah, they absolutely rock as people. They rock as musicians. Go out and see them, wave hey. They'll all say hey back.
They will.
Very lovely guys. So yeah, that's sick that that's the first band that we got to get them all together.
Yep. Jake from Kendall Street, you're next.
And then we'll have them go head to head and they'll duel.
And then Daniel
Hunger
Donato,
Games
man,
style.
if you ever want to come on, just know you were waiting on you to finish the band.
Sir, whenever you have the time, we'll be here.
Probably not if we talked crap about him using AI.
Yeah. No. Oh well.
We stick to our guns.
Yeah, don't use AI. We've said it multiple times. Stop using AI for art. And that even means the people that we like.
So Mental Awakening, we interviewed Michael way back when. Talked to Hetty Net here and there on Instagram, and they reached out to us to we already planned to go.
Yeah.
But then they're like, hey, we should work together and have you guys help cover the festival. So they were nice enough to invite us, hooked us up, whole 9 yards, awesome event. Really cool for me too, planning the All Jammed Up Fest, and from last year it was so rinky dink and thrown together, and this year we're trying to make it a little more legit and have more things outside of just the music, and seeing their festival and this thing that they've created in Atlanta. It's really encouraging to see just the simple ways that they put it too. You just want to be better at one thing each time you do it. And I saw their festival and I was like, wow, if we could do it like this, that would be awesome.
Yeah, that was such an amazing time. From the location, the people running it, the bands that they got. There was so much fun. It was max 62 degrees. I did manage to get sunburn.
Yeah.
The only one that probably did.
And then, so Friday, who we had Friday? We had Dogs Friday, we had Fruit Friday.
Oh yeah, here, I have the set lists.
Yeah, let's pull that up.
So we had Yule, Wax Monkey, Tanned, Fruit, and Dogs in a Pile. And honestly, all of this, I told Clint, was probably musically my favorite day.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know. I just feel like I hadn't heard of Yule or Wax Monkey, and I'd heard of Tanned, but I hadn't seen them. I knew I love Fruit. I knew I love Dogs. So, these first three bands surprised me in how much I liked them.
Yeah.
I will say my biggest surprise was day 2, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, Tanned was awesome. That's a band that I've been hearing getting thrown around forever, Florida boys. So it was cool to check those guys out. Fruit, as always,
Crushed it.
it.
And we kind of talked and hung out a little bit with them before.
Yeah.
And it was just nice to kind of catch up a little bit, say heys. And then Dogs in a Pile. We saw them, as you know, 3 nights in a row, and they started hot and they just got progressively better.
Yeah. What was the first day we saw him? Wednesday. We saw him Wednesday. They played "Feel Like a Stranger." They played.
116 days.
They played.
No, that was day two.
Thursday. Wednesday they played. They played another one. I
could
really
also
liked.
pull up their set list. I thought about it and then I never did.
And Natalie Brooke was there too. Her
Yes,
band's always
Natalie
fun.
Brooke opened. Yeah, you like their bassist, don't you? I got yelled at by a guy out front because I told him he was
Oh yeah, that was weird.
he was complaining to me about his diabetes, and as a nurse, I said, well, your soda probably isn't helping. He had a Sunkist soda with him, which an orange soda has to be the least healthy. Sunkist and Fanta, that's probably got to be the worst. So I said that to him, and he didn't like that all too much.
Oh yeah, they had Trunk Rum
Trunk
first
Rum was
night,
fun.
and Renaissance Man too, which is one I really like. And then Thursday, we had a lot of good ones. Dangers of Rock. Don't even know the city. Watermelon Man, the Herbie Hancock cover was so sick. I saw Jeremy come out with the flute too, walking up to the stage, and I was like, wonder what he's got a flute for. Wish I would have known that before the interview. That'd have been a cool thing to talk about.
And then Porque Pedro,
116 Days,
which killed. So good.
and then a lot of jams in the second set that night.
I thought that said Bulge on the shelf, Bugle on the shelf. My apologies.
And then Friday at Mental Awakening, we got a Look Johnny, both Look Johnnies, and a Craig and Pat. And Chloe loves Craig and Pat.
I do like and Chop Shop Encore.
Yeah, we missed the Chop Shop Encore. We were getting tired by that point.
Yeah.
So we left by then.
But yeah, got both the Johnnies. And for some reason, I do like a Craig and Pat. I like a goofy song that is not just about being goofy.
Yeah, Craig. So pull up. Who was I know we started with Copacetic, a band I'd never even heard of before.
Yeah, Copacetic was.
They rocked
They
it.
were sick. They were super fun. Ain't Sisters wasn't for me.
Yeah, people really seem to like that band.
I think the music of it was good, but I didn't really like the songs.
Yeah, but
there was a good crowd for them.
Yeah.
There were multiple Shake Your Taint
there was a lot
shirts,
of Shake Your Taint
jackets. So like they have their people, and they had a lot of fun. They had a fun time over there. Air Show was really good. We had seen them at Acme before Billy.
For Billy, yeah, they're
In
fun.
Nashville.
They have a unique lineup that I like, with the mandolin and then the drums. I think they have a fun little setup there.
Is Air Show also the taller bassist and then the guy on the drums?
They have the black guy on the drums and the mandolin player, acoustic, and then I think bass too.
I think the bassist was like rocking out at one point pretty hard, and I was like, I like that.
But I like the mandolin just thrown into a rock band. I think that's a nice touch.
Yeah, an interesting sound. You definitely don't get that a lot. Underground Springhouse was good.
Yeah, I thought they were going to be heavier for some reason. I've listened to some of the stuff on Spotify, and I was under the impression they would be heavier. Maybe it was just the set they played, but still awesome.
Yeah, maybe they just kind of followed what these other three did. I don't know. Copacetic was fucking ripping. Mama's Love, I don't remember.
Yeah, we were busy. We were doing interviews with fans and bands, and we're gonna make we're working on a YouTube video, kind of recapping the week there. So more to come on that later, but we were making some content. You'll see it when it all comes out. So I don't remember too much about Mama's Love. Also, doing this 5 days after always makes it harder.
I know, and I don't usually take my phone around with me when we're out at places, because who else am I gonna message but you?
Yeah.
And every time I do that, I'm like, I should be taking notes.
That's the thing too. Is this is, usually we've done Halloween, where we were helping cover it, but that was just a few interviews and a lot of so we had designated times we were going to do this, and we're there all day, the whole time. So it's you carve out a little bit of time. This is an ongoing event for a day, and we're kind of running around. It was just a really different experience, working it,
Yeah, I agree. There was a set that I was getting really into the first day. Oh, it was Dogs in a Pile,
Yeah.
and there was a jam that Jimmy did that we both just like locked into.
And it's like,
then
shit, we should be recording this.
I like hit again. I didn't have my phone, so I needed yours. I was like, this is the shit we're meant to be recording. We're not like meant to get that into it. We like spaced out, and it was such a sick jam. I remember, but yeah, I was like, it was definitely different working it, because it does take you away from a lot, but still such an honor to do it. I was still so
and I think that's
awesome.
Part of the learning is like finding the balance between, win, which I think we got better at as the weekend went on.
I agree.
Big Something was definitely my like surprise of the week.
That was my surprise of the week.
For some reason, I was under the impression that they were like electronic, kind of.
You also thought it was Karina Reichman's band.
Yeah, I thought Karina Reichman was a part of it for some reason. I don't know why.
I thought the set that they played, it may just be set dependent, but they had like a Sublime feel to some of their songs, and then they kind of had like a Papa Roach feel, which I really enjoyed. I fucking love. She did
say that.
I love Papa Roach. I find them so fun, and so they kind of gave me that, and I had a lot of fun in their set.
Yeah, they were good.
And I think you had mentioned to me that like, oh, they were maybe meant to be a bit like more funky, and maybe it wasn't gonna be for us. And so I went in like, okay, I'm gonna sit in my chair and I'm just gonna kind of listen to this one. But they rocked. They did. They were so good. Sick. And then Swerve was really fun.
Awesome.
Good Creek.
Yeah, fun. Meet Me at the Creek. Their jam, they did like the beginning of Meet Me at the Creek, and then they went to a jam. And I remember in the jam, I even asked Chloe, like, how did they plan on getting this back to Meet Me at the Creek?
Yeah.
And they did it.
Yeah, they did it. And I have a good video of it too.
It was fun, yeah.
Yeah, the turn they kind of took with the music to get it back, it was really fun. So I liked that one a lot.
And then Disco did Disco things.
Disco rocked it as always.
They're sick. Kids, stop.
We got to talk to Pickle.
Yeah, we got to meet Pickle. We got to hang out with Fish, the manager, for a little bit. That guy's the man. We've met him a few times now. Always a good dude.
And we've caught up with Jake, which was really lovely. It was just overall like such a good weekend.
Yeah, and Connor and Michael did such a good job of making us like feel welcome, and because I feel like the core of the people that were setting that thing up were all like really good friends, and we were just kind of there, and they just did a great job making us feel welcome. We did bail on the late night. It was like Jason Hahn's DJ set from String Cheese.
Yeah, I know. I bet that was fun. I haven't seen any videos of it.
Yeah, me either.
But,
we were up 4 nights in a row late, and we just couldn't do it again.
Yeah, so we called it kind of midway through Disco, maybe.
Yeah. Second half of their show. Set.
But it was overall super sick. And it was a shame we missed that, but it's okay. We see a lot of cheese at the end of the year, so it's okay.
So I mentioned the video. Going forward, the podcast is just going to be on Mondays from now on. I got a new job that's kind of keeping me longer days. We're dipping our toes into creating more YouTube. I've learned that like it's hard to keep people engaged for
an hour
twice a week. The podcast will probably be longer with more, like maybe more podcasts with 2 interviews and stuff like that. But just meeting Monday and Thursday deadlines it's becoming a little more difficult, especially with my job going on now. And like I said, I want to venture into this shorter form content. Think like Channel 5 News, like when he recaps an event. That's kind of what we want to do with music festivals or like multi-day runs here in Asheville. Just different stuff like that. And I think that it will be better too. Like I'll still do interviews and maybe just clip a few minutes of the interview and put it in a video for YouTube, which I think will end up being better. So just Mondays from here on out will be the new schedule of the podcast, but expect a YouTube video or 2 as well from the channel. So if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, go do that now. It'll also give Chloe and I more things to talk about on these segments. So I think in turn, we'll probably still be getting the same amount of time a week for podcasts. So if you really want, split it up, half Monday, half Thursday.
Yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of the podcasts are getting lost releasing so much too, because I know it's not the only media that you guys are consuming. So we're going to switch to just Mondays, see how that goes, and try to branch out into YouTube as well. With that being said, we are going to do the Western African psychedelic. So if there's something that you know that we should kind of start with, feel free to DM us on Instagram. You know we're active there.
Because I'll just have to go all the way back to the beginning, and I don't know where that'll
Yeah.
take me.
So yeah, we're excited for that kind of new chapter that's coming up here next. The bracket did finish.
Yes, Meet Me at the
Meet Me at the
Creek is
Creek
our
one.
winner. I'm sure that surprises nobody. I'm glad that's the result.
Yeah, it was
Honestly, I love Guild to Lily. I would have been kind of mad.
yeah, same. It was fun to do. I feel like we got a lot more people into the podcast too from it.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll get some new music from Billy this year and we can do it again next year.
Ow, ow.
Maybe some new covers. Maybe I'll let you guys throw some songs in because I know we forgot some of the like one-offs, California Sober, Wargasm, Dust in a Baggie, stuff like that. But yeah, that's kind of the plan for us and All Jammed Up now. I think it's gonna be good, and hopefully we'll have that Mental Awakening video out soon. I still gotta finagle around with editing, and we have a busy weekend next weekend. It's my birthday. We're going to see Goose and Billy. But we'll still be back every Monday with a new episode. We'll still be active on social media. Hopefully more content with YouTube too. So just trying something new to keep things fresh and keep people as interested as we can be. Anything else you got?
I am listening through the new Flea solo album, Honora review coming next week.
Alrighty.
Trying to give it a good listen.
That's a good thing too, is it'll give us more topics to go through with the whole week instead of every Monday, Thursday, and
Yeah, don't worry. Chloe's Corner is here to stay.
Yeah.
We know you're all worried. She's just on Monday now.
awesome, guys. Well, we're stoked for that. Exciting stuff coming soon. We'll see you again on Monday. And remember, wherever you are right now is exactly where you're supposed to be.
Well, all jammed up, hey, that's where it's going down. Best damn pot in this old Asheville town. More than enough old stories to go around. And I'm all jammed up right now. Yes, I'm all jammed up right now.